The first sound was a bird, a male blackbird trilling from the hedgerows. His voice was brittle, glass bright against the dull hush of the early morning, soon joined by the squeals and grunts of James' neighbor's Panage pigs set loose to echo among the acorn-rich underbrush. Tom sat by the window, tea cooling in his hands. He hadn't slept much that night. None of us had. The night had been thick with half-seen shapes, the woods creaking like old bones. Somewhere past midnight, even the local barn owl had fallen silent. Then came the robin and its autumn song. It perched on the windowsill, puffed red breast, head cocked as though listening. James noticed it first. "That's a sign," he muttered. "Old folks say robins carry messages from the dead, from the spirit world." The little bird let out a single note, sharp and strange, then flew off toward the edge of the trees. "Well, I think Mr. Redbreast wants us to follow him," Sophie said, already grabbing her coat. "I know when not to ignore a guide when one shows up." No one questioned her. In Harlow's Hollow, too many things weren't coincidence. We followed the robin deep in the woods, fluttering branch to branch, sometimes waiting patiently for us to keep up, past the place where the offerings had been left the day before. Many are now gone or slowly decaying from the elements. As we tread, we could hear pheasants clattering through the underbrush. A hedgehog, perhaps returning home from a late night of hunting, waddled across our path. The stillness was shattered by a sudden rustle, and there he was. Michael, the redling. The young boy half shrouded in a morning mist near an ancient yew, a shape out of time. He wore the same fox pelt draped over his shoulders, matted with burrs and dried leaves. His eyes, human yet not, met mine without fear. Sophie stepped forward slowly, crouching low. "Hey there, sweetheart. It's okay." The boy's head tilted. Then with an uncanny quickness, he dropped to all fours and bolted, but not away. He circled them. Joining him from the undergrowth were foxes, badgers, stoats, weasels, and even a polecat. Low and silent like a predator testing a herd. Nick whispered, "He's not just a kid anymore." "No," said James, voice raw. "He's been out in the woods for far too long. And those monsters made him into this." His knuckles whitened. "My son, that's my bloody boy." A stunned silence followed. The air grew colder. Rooks cawed overhead. The forest was listening. James stepped forward slowly, voice shaking like old timber. "Michael, son, it's me, your father." The boy flinched. Eyes, feral, golden, blinked uncertainly. "Do you remember? Your name is Michael Corbin. You lived on a farm with me. You used to love reading Rupert Bear, playing football with your mates. You loved foxes, even though I didn't. You have a little fox named Todd back home. You wouldn't sleep without him. He misses you." The redling tilted his head. A breath caught in his throat, but he said nothing. "I looked for you," James whispered. "I never stopped. I'm sorry I let those horrible people take you." The redling tilted his head at James. A rather protective sow badger snarled at the sheep farmer to keep him away from the redling. I couldn't believe what I saw. Michael calmed her by a quick kicker. "Incredible," Nick whispered. "Your son's a real-life Mowgli now." "Yeah, bloody hell, son," James muttered. But before we could move closer, a crack rang through the air. A branch snapped somewhere nearby. A hiss of movement. Then came the smoke. Michael's animals scattered into the undergrowth. A veil of oily vapor moved closer. A track rang through the air. A branch snapped somewhere nearby. A hiss of movement, then came the smoke. Figures emerged from the smoke screen, tall, masked, and silent. The hunters. Their faces were hidden behind grotesque masks of bone and hide like beasts born of nightmare. One held a long shepherd's crook, another a net. Michael shrieked, then chaos. Sophie hurled a smoke flare, painting the world crimson. Nick tackled one of the men to the ground. Got one! Tom scrambled through the smoke, grabbing Michael's arm, but something yanked the boy back. A steel trap disguised under leaves clanged shut beside his feet. The hunter surged forward. James tried to run, shouting for his boy, but I grabbed him back by the collar, having seen through those hunters' games. Don't! It's a trap! Michael was dragged, kicking and howling, into his metal cage set in an old, rusted trailer behind a covered quad bike. The hunters vanished into the smoke, their prize in tow. The cock robin returned. He flitted around James's head, then darted after the fleeing cage, its trilling call like a warning. Tom and Nick threw the bound cultist onto the kitchen floor. The man's mask now cracked. He was no rural villager. His accent was posh, his clothes too clean beneath the grime. You're not from here, Sophie growled. Well, aren't you a clever little chav? The man sneered. Does it matter? It's too late. I stepped closer, now intrigued what this ruffian had to say. So you can keep pretending you lot own the land? The cultist smiled wider, clearly indulging in our frustration. We don't pretend. We remember. The old ways, before your lot came with the cameras and flares. We know the power beneath the soil, even better than those imbecilic locals. Then why hide behind your smoke screens? Tom snapped. What? You think you lot were the first to try and sabotage our rituals? The man hissed. We gotta keep you fools on your toes. After securing the snob in one of James's rooms for the night and giving him something to eat, or not heartless, we retired for the night. Tom, Nick, and Sophie, battered and exhausted, were the first to hit the sack, leaving me alone with poor James. Poor bloke, having to reunite with his son only to be stripped of him once again. They're really going to do it. The ritual. My son. The hunt's legacy. But not this time. I don't care if the wild swallows my farmstead whole. I don't care if wolves magically appear from the other world. I'm getting my son back, or I'll die trying. From the woods came a sharp bark of a fox, and then silence. I jolted awake just past midnight, realizing I dozed off in my chair. The dying embers of the fireplace now smoldered. The wind had stopped. The cock robin sat perched on the back of my chair, watching me with its jet black eyes. Then, from the woods, came a sound unlike any I'd heard before. A scream, half human, half animal. Michael, being changed. And soon, the hunt will begin.